History is often written in the blood of empires and the clash of civilizations. We remember the great wars that reshaped our maps, but some conflicts are so absurd, so surreal, that they seem like a glitch in the timeline of humanity. In 1932, the Australian military, equipped with the latest machine guns of the era, declared a formal war. Their enemy, not an invading army, not a rebel faction, but a flightless bird, the emu. Today, on Onyx Able, we dive deep into the archives of the most humiliating military defeat in human history. How did 20,000 birds outmaneuver a modern army? Was it mere luck, or did these creatures possess a tactical intelligence we still don't understand? Prepare yourself for a journey into the heart of the Outback, where nature decided to fight back. To understand the war, we must first understand the soldiers. After the horrors of the Great War in Europe, the Australian government made a promise to its returning heroes, land. In the harsh, sun-drenched plains of Western Australia, these veterans were given plots of soil to build a future. They became farmers, trading their rifles for plows. But the 1930s brought two devastating shadows: the Great Depression and a catastrophic drought. The soil was dry, the prices of wheat were collapsing, and the spirits of these veterans were breaking. They were fighting for survival against an unforgiving land. Little did they know, a biological tide was rising in the horizon. A massive migration that would turn their struggle into a literal battlefield. Then came the emus. Every year, after their breeding season, these birds migrate from the interior to the coast. But the farmers had inadvertently created an oasis. The cleared land and the new irrigation systems were a paradise for the thirsty birds. 20,000 emus descended upon the wheat belt like a feathered plague. They didn't just eat the crops, they annihilated them. They tore through expensive fences, leaving gaps for rabbits to enter and finish what was left. The veterans, once masters of the battlefield, were now watching their livelihoods vanish. They tried hunting them, but the emu is no ordinary prey. Capable of running at 50 kilometers per hour, his skin is tough as leather and a chaotic movement pattern. They were the perfect guerrilla warriors of the desert. Desperate, the farmers bypassed the Ministry of Agriculture and went straight to the Ministry of Defense. They didn't want seeds or subsidies. They wanted machine guns. Minister Sir George Pearce saw an opportunity. Not just to help the farmers, but to provide target practice for his troops and gain some easy political favor. He deployed Major GPW Meredith of the 7th Heavy Battery of the Royal Australian Artillery. Along with him were 2 soldiers, 2 Lewis automatic machine guns, and 10,000 rounds of ammunition. The media called it the Great Emu War. It was supposed to be a massacre. The military expected to wipe out the birds in a matter of days. Little did they know, they were about to enter a logistical and tactical nightmare. On November 2nd, 1932, the first shots were fired near Campion. The troops spotted a group of about 50 emus. Major Meredith ordered his men to set up an ambush. They waited in silence, the heavy Lewis guns cold in their hands. As the birds came within range, the order was given, fire. The silence of the Outback was shattered by the rhythmic thud of machine gun fire. But then, something unexpected happened. The birds didn't panic. They didn't scatter in a straight line. They split into small groups, each led by a tall, dark-feathered commander bird. While the soldiers struggled to aim at the chaotic targets, the emus vanished into the scrub. After hundreds of rounds, only a handful of birds lay dead. The invincible military had missed their opening move. After the first failure, Major Meredith decided to change his strategy. He found the perfect spot, a local dam where over 1,000 emus gathered for water. This was it, a concentrated target. The soldiers hid their machine guns, waiting for the perfect moment to open fire and end the war in a single strike. As the massive flock approached, the tension was palpable. The birds were just yards away. Meredith gave the signal. But then disaster struck. After only a few rounds, the Lewis gun jammed. The metallic click of a malfunction echoed through the valley. Before the soldiers could clear the breach, the 1,000-headed beast scattered in 1,000 different directions. Once again, the military had been outsmarted by a mechanical failure and the sheer speed of their feathered rivals. It was during these days that Major Meredith began to notice something unsettling. These weren't just dumb animals. He noted that each pack seemed to have a leader, a tall, 6-foot-high bird that stood watch while its companions destroyed the wheat. This sentinel would stay perfectly still, neck extended, scanning the horizon for any sign of the military's khaki uniforms. At the slightest hint of danger, it would give a low-frequency warning, and the entire flock would vanish into the scrubland before a single trigger could be pulled. The Australian press began to write with a mix of mockery and awe. The emus have their own generals. The war was no longer a cull. It was a psychological battle against a creature that seemed to understand the rules of engagement better than the soldiers themselves. In a final, desperate attempt to match the speed of the birds, Meredith ordered a Lewis gun to be mounted on the back of a truck. This was 1930s, technical warfare. The plan was simple: chase the birds and mow them down at high speed. However, the reality was a farce. The Australian Outback was not a paved highway. The truck bounced so violently over the uneven terrain that the gunner couldn't even hold the weapon, let alone aim it. To make matters worse, the birds were faster and more agile than the vehicle. In one legendary incident, an emu reportedly got tangled in the steering mechanism, causing the truck to veer off course and crash into a fence. The military was literally being driven into the ground by flightless birds. By November 8th, just 6 days into the campaign, the news reached the House of Representatives. The mockery was global. Members of Parliament asked if medals would be struck for this war, or if it was the emus who should be decorated for their brilliant defense. The Minister of Defense, Sir George Pierce, was humiliated. Under intense public and political pressure, he ordered a full withdrawal. The troops packed their bags and left. The emus had won the first round, but the victory of the birds meant the total destruction of the farmers' livelihoods. The silence that followed the withdrawal was not one of peace, but of despair. The war on emus was officially over, or so everyone thought. The farmers didn't give up. They pleaded for the military to return, citing the 20,000 birds that were still eating every grain of wheat in the state. Reluctantly, the government approved a second campaign. Major Meredith returned to the field on November 13th. This time, he was more systematic. The military stopped trying to be clever and started being persistent. Over the next month, the body count began to rise. Meredith claimed to have killed nearly 1,000 birds with 10,000 rounds of ammunition, a ratio of 10 bullets for every one bird. Even in success, the inefficiency was staggering. The world watched as the pride of the British Empire's descendants was drained away, one bullet at a time, by the most resilient enemy they had ever faced. By December 1932, the official reports were filed. Major Meredith claimed a tactical victory, but the reality was a strategic surrender. Despite the thousands of rounds fired, the emu population remained largely untouched. The military was ordered to withdraw permanently. The farmers begged for a third intervention in 1934, 1943, and even 1948, but the government, fearful of more international ridicule, said no. The machine guns had failed. The birds had stood their ground against the pride of a nation. It was the only war in history where the enemy didn't even know it was at war, yet won every major engagement through sheer biological defiance. Paradoxically, the solution was not more guns, but a bounty system. The government offered money for every emu killed. The local farmers, who knew the land and the birds better than any soldier, succeeded where the military failed. Over 50,000 birds were culled in a single year by independent hunters. But the irony remains etched in history. A modern army with automatic weapons was defeated by nature, only to be saved by the very people they were sent to protect. Science would later reveal the secret of the emu's survival. Their double-layered feathers acted like a primitive bulletproof vest, and their decentralized nervous system allowed them to keep running even after taking hits that would drop a human. Today, the emu stands proudly on the Australian coat of arms. It is chosen because it is an animal that cannot take a step backward. It only moves forward. Perhaps that is the greatest lesson of the Emu War. We try to conquer nature with technology and force, forgetting that we are part of the same cycle. The Great Emu War is more than just a funny story. It is a reminder of human arrogance. As we look to the stars and the mysteries of our past, we must remember the time a few thousand birds humbled a superpower. Thank you for diving deep with us today. If you enjoyed this journey into the absurd, subscribe to Onyx Able. The truth is often stranger than fiction, and we're just getting started.